Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast. Come for a drink, but stay for the speculation. Expanse is saved. Well done, Amazon. Wait, that's probably old news by now, but we're still ecstatic here at the pub. On this episode, we talk about why the Expanse is so important to science fiction. In the second part, we dive into the books. So have a belt or two. This is the SciFi Pubcast. Greetings. Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub, and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. I'm Joel. I'm the owner of this public pub, so to speak, and with me today is my staff, and I'm looking around. Who do I see? Carrie, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Mostly.
I might be a figment of your imagination.
That tends to happen sometimes, especially when I, wake up after a night of drinking. So, yeah, okay, fair enough. I'll just run with it. And we also have, oh God, he's back, Derek.
No.
Howdy ho, everybody.
Hi, Derek. How you doing today?
I'm great.
Okay. Right. How is the kitchen doing?
It's great. In honor of the Expanse, I am proud to offer Belcher's Stroganoff. As we know, in the Belt, they don't really have meat. They use fungus and mushrooms for everything. And I just so happened to find this fuzzy green growth underneath the refrigerator. So I'll be serving that. And the best news is we don't have to pay for anything, so it's all profit.
Well, that's great. Yeah.
I love how he admits to all this stuff and doesn't think that we might be sued at some point for food poisoning.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to think that people would appreciate my entrepreneurial spirit.
Not if they're dead, they won't.
Yeah, well,
what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah, and it's the whole thing, but
or gives you superpowers.
True, and there's the corporate greed aspect, of course. But the thing is,
right.
I'm the guy who owns the business, whereas Derek's just a staff member. So I really don't understand that one.
It might leave your skin glowing blue, but aside from that, you'll be fine.
Oh, lovely. Yes, one molecule at a time. So just to catch people up, you just returned from Disney World, isn't that right, Derek?
Yes, I went to Disney World right before my birthday.
And how was that?
It rained every day, but aside from that, it was great.
Did you spend a lot of time in, was it Disney Springs?
I did not go there this time, no.
Oh,
it's
really?
just a big shopping and restaurant district, so.
And the bars, you didn't go to my Irish pub? You didn't
ask
me?
Yeah, sorry, not a drinker.
Okay. With me, of course, I've been busy with work, because that's what I do mostly. And I'm going to be going away for work for the next couple of weeks on something. So the next episode of the SciFi Pubcast might be delayed by a week or two. So I apologize for that. Just that, work kind of pays my bills. But that's it.
You are so fired, boss.
I know. It's terrible. Just don't tell the Ewoks, okay?
I finally convinced them that you mean them no harm and won't... so they won't eat you. They're still eyeing Derek, though.
Yeah. Well, if I come back and if the pub is still here, I will count that as a win.
Yay.
Yes. But today we're talking The Expanse, the novels and the TV show. The Expanse is, we've been talking about it at least since 2015 when the TV series started on Sci-Fi Channel. And it's very current right now because of the whole Save the Expanse campaign. Because after season 3, Sci-Fi Channel did not renew it. And we found out about that maybe 2 weeks ago. And as of last night, guess what, guys?
What?
It's official! Season 4 of The Expanse has been picked up by Amazon Prime Video. Yes.
Yay!
Thank you, Amazon.
I have reason to keep my Prime subscription for one more year.
Yeah, I have to actually go and subscribe it now probably, but that's okay. I like the show so much I'll spend the money because I have to buy my products legally. But yes, thank you, Amazon, and I urge everyone to subscribe now to show your support for The Expanse.
And they already have season 1 and 2 streaming on it now, and I assume they'll be adding season 3 sometime after it finishes on Sci-Fi Channel.
I mean, you can already stream it right now, but I think you have to pay for it right now.
Well, I'm watching it right now. If you have an Amazon Prime account, it's free to watch season 1 and 2.
I'm talking about season 3.
Oh yeah. I guess you could pay for the episodes individually, but
Yeah, that's how I do it right now. I buy it off of iTunes, and it hits iTunes, I think, on the next day, on Thursday. So I can't take part in, say, Chris McGuffin's live tweeting from the Crash Couch, or Laura, or anyone else who does that. Speaking of which, do you guys know all the shows that are on our network when Nerds Attack?
Most of them, I think.
Yes.
I know there's When Nerds Attack.
Yeah, exactly. But this one dedicated to The Expanse. It's been around for a while. It's called The Crash Couch. And
I've heard of this strange show.
Yes, and Chris McGuffin is kind of like their pilots of their ship. So he's very supportive. He's been on our show before, and he sends his greetings.
So you're saying he's the MacGuffin of that show?
Yeah, you could say that. Yeah. The Crash Couch has been around. It used to be part of the Random Chatter network before we moved networks. We all part of the Expanse community, and I just want to talk about the Expanse everywhere with everyone. That's how much I love the show. How's that?
Hey, all good.
Good. So with this Sci-Fi Pubcast episode, we're doing it in 2 parts because we are conscious of spoilers, but we still want to talk about the content. So the first part is going to be spoilerly about the TV shows. So if you're not caught up on the TV show episodes, you may want to pause it and come back to our little podcast episode. And in the part 1, we're talking about the Expanse and why is it important. There was a lot of conversation.
Controversy?
Not controversy, conversation.
Ah.
Sorry, my speech impediment, it sometimes acts up. And I'm drinking green tea right now, not tequila. It's terrible. But I digress.
Clearly, you're drinking the wrong thing.
Absolutely. Well, since Sci-Fi did not renew the show 2 weeks ago, there was such a large campaign out there to save the Expanse, and we want to talk about it. And we want to try to put the Expanse in context of the greater science fiction world and why it's so important to sci-fi and to pop culture in general. So that's part 1. Mm-hmm. And part 2, we are going to dive into the books. And so we are going to talk spoilers for part 2 in the books. And I don't know how to actually put the bookmark in on your feed for the podcast episode, but we will, before we go and talk about the books, we will say, hey, we're talking about the books. So beware of spoilers. We've all read the books, right?
Yes.
I've read the 7 books, but not the short stories.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
I've read the short stories as well.
Yeah, I've read the books, but not the short stories or the novellas. It's on my to-do list. But yeah, I'm going to get there sometime. And it'd be good just to dive into the books. So we'll have almost no one who's going to listen if you actually haven't read the books yet. But so be it.
And just to get our chronology straight, the most recent episode at the time of this recording is season 3, episode 7, titled Delta V, which is the beginning of the book 3 content.
Right. Excellent.
Well, it's kind of beginning of book 3, but there's a little bit of book 2 still, and whatever. We'll get it.
We'll get it. Well, first, let's do a little introduction to what actually is The Expanse. It's based off of course, the novels by James S.A. Corey, which, of course, is, guess what, guys? It's not a real name. It's not. It's a pen name of 2 folks from the United States.
It's a collective entity.
Yes, and of course, I'm probably going to butcher their names. This is why you should never let me actually say names of people. That's Daniel Abrams and Ty Frank. Am I saying it right?
Sounds about right.
Yes, I apologize. Please don't. Don't take out contracts on my life. But they're longtime writers in the greater fan community, and they're both very active, and they're consultants to the TV show. So that's kind of cool. And of course, I want to just say that, the production company of the TV show is called Alcon. I can't even say it now.
Alcon?
Alcon, Entertainment. Thank you, Alcon, to whoever you pronounce it, for actually making this show, because it's awesome. And they're so cool, and they're so, progressive and open-minded that they actually they have these 2 writers show up to actually consult on the set and as part of the writing team as well, which is awesome to see.
Yeah, That's well, it depends. Writer involvement can be a good thing. It can be a bad thing, depending on how they're changing it. But normally for a production, the writer's the last person the production staff wants on the set.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I never actually worked on a production before. I've actually worked on TV before or film, but maybe there's be like a something new. Maybe they will give me a call. I can come down. I can help write or actually consult or provide security or something like that. I don't know. So no, that's good. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes, guys. I know we can hit several different themes right now, but why? First, if you do say yes, why do you think The Expanse is so important to science fiction? Carrie, let's start with you.
Oh, well, it shows us what is possible, for one thing, because all of the actual science that they're dealing with is stuff that 200 years into our current future, assuming we don't blow ourselves up in the next 6 months or so. What they're doing on the Expanse looks like it could be possible given the progression of our current technology.
Yeah, I think as I've said previously, I'm all about realism, and to see that, yes, this is how technology could evolve over the period of 200-300 years. Yeah, I can definitely see it because it's reasonable, it's rational, it's something that you can go, yeah, that makes sense. Like right now, we don't have anyone on Mars that I know of besides robots. But given time, yeah, I suspect that we as a species will have people on Mars, even ever so briefly. And who knows?
Right.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Okay, and you, Derek, what's your opinions of The Expanse and its role in the greater world of storytelling?
Well, it's certainly noticeable for using realistic technology and the laws of physics, but I think the more important reason for it is that it shows a future where people are just like they are today. They're lazy, they're stupid, they don't think straight, they're violent, they're horrible to each other. It's not a Star Trek future where everyone is nice and idyllic. They're just awful human beings for the most part, to the point where it kind of makes you
Derek.
fret for humanity.
Wow, Derek, man, you got dark there really quickly.
Well, that's the way the show is. I mean, I don't. I mean, that's not really my style personally, but that's what makes the story notable and interesting. That there's these awful people just everywhere in this show.
Yeah,
it is rather depressing. Show the way they show the lengths that people will go to, do horrible shit to each other.
Especially in the later novels, which we'll get into later.
Yeah.
Yeah, but saying that, there's always, our heroes, right? People who may make difficult decisions, often to their own detriment, for the greater good, or for something else. There's a lot of self-sacrificing going on in The Expanse.
Yes.
Now, can you take a very jaded, cynical approach that these people are delusional and they're acting not of their own self-interest, but because they're altruistic and that they're just being silly? Well, maybe, but it's storytelling, and I think that's part of the human experience. Mm-hmm. I think it speaks to that. Yeah, very dark. But
that little glimmer of hope is not always readily seen on the Expanse.
Right. But saying that, there's been dark science fiction before. It's Blade Runner. It's a subgenre. The whole cyberpunk thing too.
Oh, there's Blade Runner, Hunger Games, stuff like that. Post-apocalyptic. Yeah. I mean, even Babylon 5 wasn't always sunshine and roses with regards to the future.
Yeah.
It did always have a lot of humor in it, though.
Yeah.
And most of the characters were pretty up and up, pretty noble. I mean, EarthGov wasn't, but
yeah. But with The Expanse, I think there's humor, but it's a very dark sense of humor. Each time Amos opens up his mouth, I just laugh.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
Because he's so on the ball. He's just great. And we all need some psychopath to bring a humor to a little show. Oh God. Well, let's refocus. Besides the dark noir nature of The Expanse, why is it so important? Like, why do people care about this? That they spent last 2 weeks on Twitter and on other social media platforms advocating its renewal or it's picked up by another network, which actually happened. Is it just because the fans love it that Amazon picked it up, or did Amazon pick it up because they think it's a great story and has several more seasons behind it to tell?
The other thing is that there's been a real dearth of good science fiction television lately. We had a lot of great shows in the 90s. We had Battlestar Galactica, and we haven't had that many great spaceship-based science fiction shows lately. And especially the Sci-Fi Channel has been going through a bit of a rough patch the past 5 or 10 years, where they've just been doing Sharknadoes and whatnot. So this was kind of their big step back in towards respectability, and of course that's gone now.
It's kind of like I don't know what's happening at Sci-Fi, and I don't know the business end in terms of the contracts, but I gotta shake my head why they just did not choose to renew The Expanse. My understanding is that they looked at just the live numbers and that's it, but I could be completely wrong.
I understand it from a financial perspective, because this show wasn't even getting 1 million people on Sci-Fi Channel, and they did not have a good distribution deal with Alcon. I believe somehow the terms of the contract only showed the live ratings or something like that. It didn't take into account time shifting viewing, which of course that's what everybody does nowadays.
I think it also didn't take into account streaming, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, so it wasn't a favorable contract for the Sci-Fi Channel to pick up, and it just wasn't doing good numbers. So it's just one of those shows that's really popular with a small niche of people, but just does not pull in the numbers to justify keeping it on the air.
Yeah, it's kind of like Star Trek.
Or Firefly, or Arrested Development.
Yeah. Wait, what's the last one? No, forget it.
Arrested Development.
Okay, now to answer my own question, why is The Expanse so important? I go back to the whole business about the story. The story is what is paramount. The story is essential to everything else. And by the story, I mean everything from the setting to the themes to the underlying what the story is trying to tell you about the greater good of humanity or the greater view of humanity. The writing, everything about that. That acting. Oh, we got to talk about some of the actors, because I just find the acting to be first rate in the Expanse.
Agreed.
It takes a certain talent to act in a character that becomes loved. And I think by season 3, there's a lot of characters that people they fall in love with the characters because they're so realistic and they have their own style. Okay, what's your favorite character on The Expanse?
I think right now my favorite character is Bobby, because she's such a huge badass, and I just watching her mow through everyone is just fun to see.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I can see that. How about you, Derek?
My favorite character has always been Christiane Avasarala, because she's this wizened old grandmother who curses worse than anyone else and is this kind of ultimate alpha female, badgering and bullying everyone in order to do the right thing. I love her. She's my favorite. Yeah. And Bobby is a close second.
Yeah, I like Avasarala myself. She's probably my number one favorite. But I like a lot of them. I like I'm going to try to pronounce some of the actors' name, and I'm going to mispronounce it. So please step in. So Avasarala is played by who again?
Shoreya Aglashu.
Agdashlu? Yeah.
Don't know.
Yes.
I'll let you guys butcher that.
Listen, it's an educational process. I get it. We are going to make mistakes, and we mean no disrespect. In fact, we are trying to be as respectful as possible because we love all these actors. So I actually like people like Qatar, played by Nick Tarabai. And yes, let's take a moment here and raise our glasses to Qatar because he's he's a loyal soldier and spy, and he found his way in life and in death. So
yes.
Yes. Oh well.
That was hard.
Yes, I also like Fred Johnson, Chad Coleman. Yeah, I have all the time. Fred
he's
Johnson.
Interesting too.
Yes.
And Amos, of course.
Yeah, Amos, and all of them, right?
And Alex. Alex is fun.
You notice
I love that he's kind of like the peacemaker of the group.
Yeah. You notice we haven't even mentioned the two stars, Jim Holden and Naomi Digata, played by Stephen Strait and of course Dominique Tipper.
Yeah, they're awesome too.
Yeah, they're awesome, but they're not the go-to favorites. They're mostly the show, right?
They're kind of like the straight men of the show.
Yeah,
they're just. Oh, I mean, it's hard to take. I mean, you kind of take it for granted. They're like the backbone of the show, right there. It's like they're like the power couple.
Yeah.
Even when they're not together, they're like, it's like they have to. The show is kind of sort of revolving around them, but not.
Yeah. And it's funny because you can follow these actors on Twitter. Some of them are very active. Cass Anvar, he's all over Twitter. So is Dominique Tipper. And again, I may be mispronouncing some of these names. I apologize. But follow them. And going back, you want a great person to follow is, of course, Daniel Abrams.
James A.
Yes, because of his role, he's all over Twitter. He sometimes gets political, but I don't mind that. Yeah, Daniel Abrams. He's one of the co-writers of, goes with the pen name James S.A. Corey. Yeah, that guy, the guy who created, The Expanse, partly. Yeah. Yeah, so again, the acting is first rate, and we can spend an entire episode, talking about these actors and, where they were trained, where they're from, what did they bring to the show. I think that is part of the reason why The Expanse works so well for our time period right now in 2018, just because they convey everything they need to do to propel the story forward in a compelling and interesting way.
And it's also such a diverse cast too. So that's with all the spotlights on diversity in entertainment. It's nice to see that's actually happening on at least one show that people are watching.
My God, it's been It's been almost over 20 minutes, and we finally got to diversity. I love it. Because
that's one of the things that I think about when I think about the show being realistic, because 200 years from now, there's not going to be a lot of white people anymore. We will all be intermarrying and erasing not gender gaps. What's the other one?
Erasing
racial lines, let's say.
Yes, but no, because we as we see in The Expanse, there are new quote unquote racial gaps forming, because now it's not Black, White, and Asian. It's Earth, Mars, and the Belt. So
yeah, we can.
It's heartening to see that the things that we're worried about right now aren't going to be such a big issue. But it's also depressing to know that they're going to find other ways to divide each other.
Yeah, race is a construct, and you can see how it changes with time. Why can't we just consider everyone to be humans and leave it at that? But no, exactly. Human nature gets in the way. And let me ask you this. Why isn't there any redheads in the show? Can you recall one redhead?
Well, redheads are already genetically very rare today. I think 200 years from now, they won't exist anymore.
Exactly. Half my family is redhead. You think my family has a future in the Expanse?
Well, actually, and I know we're not talking about the books yet, but in the books, Anna's supposed to be a redhead.
Yeah.
Which is not to say I would recast Elizabeth Mitchell. No, I love her casting, but yeah, Anna's supposed to be a redhead, which is why I got a bit confused when I saw that Elizabeth Mitchell had been cast as Anna.
All right,
could be a dye job.
No. But
I also read that blonde hair is not going to exist in a few hundred years either. That's slowly going away as well.
Yeah. And blue eyes and all this.
Yeah.
That'd be interesting to see. But then there's new little, mutations because of gravity and the belters and all that. And you get different progressions as well in terms of language and culture. Yeah. Do you know any? Was it Beltonese, or how do you spell? How do you say that? What's the word they use to describe the Belt language?
Belt. Is it Beltawana or Belter Creole? Well, I guess Belter Creole would be the easy term to use.
Yeah. Which is just another reason why The Expanse is so good, because it understands that and it incorporates elements of that in the storytelling, in my humble opinion.
Well, it's like the Belter language is in a way, at least in the books, it's like a amalgam of a whole bunch of languages, and when I was reading at least the last two Expanse books, it suddenly dawned on me how much, like French and German and Japanese I understand. It's like, I understood that sentence. Great, cool.
Yeah, and you even get like regional dialects. Like look at Mars with Alex speaking with a Texas drawl.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, from Mars, Texas drawl. Right.
Well, wasn't Mars settled by Texans?
Exactly. Yes.
I think I read somewhere that it's actually an intentional artifice that it's not that they're from Texas, it's that they just decided to talk in a Southern accent, or I don't know. I read that somewhere. I don't know if that's true.
I think it was in one of the books where they said that Mars was basically settled by Texans, Pacific Islanders, and Middle Easterners. So they kind of picked up. They kind of they used the Texas accent, and so for some people you have a very strong Texas accent, and some people have a more New Zealander accent, like Bobby.
Yeah, a Kiwi accent, and it's amazing how they actually got actors from these places to play these characters. Okay. Yeah, it just goes back to the whole storytelling, and again, harping on that. And let's not forget, we mentioned all this genetic stuff and how it becomes almost like social genetics. But the show is so good, even from a hard STEM science view, with the physics, with the biology, with just the concept of distances involved in space.
Uh-huh.
And it's not like where Star Trek, you just warp speed to the next planets. Here, in The Expanse, it takes some time.
Lots of time.
Lots of time.
I think they, at least in the last couple of episodes, they kind of hinted on a little more exactly how much time it takes to do stuff. But in the show, they really haven't done as much of that. And I understand from a visual storytelling point of view that you can't really, you have to compromise somewhere. But they've done pretty good with what they've been able to get across.
That would be hilarious if in the TV show it was like launching missiles, and then they sit down, and then on the screen it says 30 minutes later the missiles are hitting.
No, I think that's the kind of thing that would have kept the Expanse canceled. So don't say that.
Yeah. But it reflects things like we haven't had a major naval engagement in the real world since the Second World War. Maybe smaller engagements for Korea and Vietnam from the American perspective. But if there was ever going to be a major naval engagement, especially dealing with submarines, not the boomers but the hunter killers, it's going to be like that. You're going to have a firing solution, and it's going to take some time for the torpedo to hit the other ship. And it's so well reflected in space, which the distances are even greater.
Well, yeah, I think someone else I've been talking to said that the space battles on the Expanse are more akin to submarine fights than anything else, because you can kind of see what it is you're aiming at, but not really.
Yeah,
and the distances are so much bigger.
Yeah, it reminds me of all the Tom Clancy books I read as a kid. The Hunt for Red October? Yeah, all those big, like really military genre naval engagements where it builds the pressure. It's a very different type of warfare because you have humanity fighting in machines.
Mm-hmm.
And in itself, it's a very different sense of fear and horror that goes along with it. Like who wants to die in a tube? I don't want to die in a tube.
I don't want to die at all.
Well, guess what, Derek? Death and taxes? Just saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, let's go back to diversity. What do you guys think about the show's treatment of, say, family units or same-sex partnerships or all that, where it really no one cares anymore? What do you guys think of that?
I think that's great. It's like I think it's great that it's become so commonplace in the future world of the Expanse that no one really cares.
Yeah, it's not
like it's. I mean, it's something that was talked about on one of the Star Trek podcasts I listened to. Is when they were going back through the original series, you had Uhura on the bridge, you had Sulu on the bridge, you had they made a bigger deal about Spock, but it's like they were there, and no one made any kind of no one on the show at least made a big deal about the fact that there was a black woman on the bridge or an Asian on the bridge. That was just, this is how things are in the future, and that's a really good thing to see even carried forward to the Expanse.
Yeah, and I really like how they just treat it as just the way the society is. It's nothing biggie. It's just the way it is. And yeah, there's economics that comes into play if you want to have a child. If you have the money, has to do with certain regulations and lotteries and all that, which was kind of neat at one level. But in terms of just being in a relationship, no one cares. That's great to see. Mm-hmm. So maybe there's some progress in the future. Maybe not all people are bad.
And I think that's just realistic, because I would like to think that ignorance and hatred, eventually will lose out to compassion, love, wisdom,
or other things to hate.
Yeah, or something bigger to hate.
Yeah, I hate to be cynical, but I think that's probably true. I like the fact that in the Expanse, you got the big players like the United Nations and Mars, but we also have all these small little factions like the OPA. And to me, each time I see the OPA, I think of the Irish Republican Army, or I think of numerous different terrorism groups during the 60s and 70s who are fighting for independence in their own minds. Mm-hmm. And how they do their trade graft, how they are involved in criminal activity. All of that is actually reflected in history, in our own history. Yeah, of course, it's fiction, but the writers definitely mine history to incorporate elements of history within the storytelling.
I always associated them with the PLO and Hamas.
Absolutely, the same example works.
Well, and it's also good because, as so many people, at least these days, seem to be forgetting our history. It's good that at least some people, it's good to see that at least some people are remembering things that have happened in the past. And while they are showing that, not a whole lot has changed, at least they are drawing on past events to kind of put this back out in front of people and say, hey, look, this kind of stuff doesn't work. Or maybe it does.
Or it works at such a cost to, to humanity. And also the fact that it plays with simple explanations. Oh, it's just the terrorists. Well, in reality, it's not that simple.
Exactly.
Or the government is good. The government's trying to protect everything about our own interests. Well, yes and no, but it's not that simple.
Yeah.
Especially when you have villains. Like, who's your favorite villain in the show?
On the show?
Yeah.
I think Mal, because there are times when you almost want to like him, but he's such a bastard. And it's like as soon as he sees that no, this is something that we could actually exploit and try to figure out. It's like he was so close to wanting to take May with him when he left. And then as soon as he saw what the protomolecule was doing, what Katoa was doing, the switch in his brain going, well, no, we have to keep going for science. Just like, dude, no, there are certain lines even science doesn't cross.
Oh, come now. What do you have against rich people?
They're rich and they can fuck with people.
Yeah, exactly. My favorite bad guy is Aaron Wright. Again, his first name is Sederer, Aaron Wright. He's such a politician, and everything we hate about politicians. Like, he's the quintessential politician, except that he actually has a backbone and a spine, and because he's evil. So he does all these nasty little things, and he's just so smooth.
Until he gets caught.
Yeah, and let's see what happens from there. But
yeah, I don't think we've seen the last of him.
No, I think Sean Doyle plays him amazingly.
Yeah, the bad guys in the series are so reprehensible. it's not really I don't know. I don't really find them to be sympathetic or morally ambiguous in any way. They're just bastards.
Yeah.
I'm kind of. I know we're not getting into the books yet, but I'm kind of dreading the introduction of Marco and Duarte into the show because those two just freak me out. Those two just freak me out.
Yeah, I mean they're horrible, but I thought they were very interesting villains, a lot more so than Mao or Aaron Wright.
I actually like Anderson Dawes. I don't actually consider him to be a villain. He's just more on the dark side than the light side.
Yeah,
Played by Jared Harris, who's one of my favorite actors.
He's kind of chaotic. He's almost chaotic neutral,
Yeah.
but not.
Again, going back to the whole OPA and how you have, more radical people and more moderate people trying to fight for the same goals, but they just want to use, they think different methods work better.
Yeah.
So the whole Anderson Dawes versus
Versus Fred Johnson.
Yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like going back to the Irish politics, Sinn Féin versus the IRA, and the whole debate about aren't they the same? And you have all this stuff going on.
Well, it's like weren't they? And you would know this better than I would, Joel. But weren't like Sinn Féin and wasn't that just like a more militant offshoot of the IRA?
No, it's if you listen to people who are unfavorable to the movement, it's basically was the PR wing of the Irish Republican Army. If you listen to Sinn Féin themselves, they're a standalone, peaceful political party using democracy to achieve their own ends, in which case is a united Ireland. But that's a whole different podcast. Okay. Yeah. But again, we see reflections of the real world in The Expanse. And it goes back to the story. And it's amazing. Oh, let's talk about set design. I love the set designs. I think they're so practical. I'm about utility, so when I see spaceships designed to function like they wouldn't in real space, I just love that. And CGI. Yeah. I once said something slightly negative about Mao's yacht, the CGI, which I sense have been, attacked. So, I think some CGI is better than others, depending on the episodes. But overall, I think it definitely adds to the show. Yeah,
I mean, the launching of the Nauvoo and the bringing back of the Nauvoo this season was gorgeous. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. I mean, even though I know they kind of screwed up on the science, but Alex's flight around the moons of Jupiter, that was also pretty trippy to see.
Oh, absolutely. I actually I've been watching some old episodes of Babylon 5, and man, the CGI in the mid 1990s, my God, I was a young man during this time period, and I can't watch it. It's so bad. Like the CGI from Babylon 5 belongs in a museum.
I still think it looks good. Not the first season, but season 2 on, I still like it. I mean, obviously it's of a certain style, but the big spaceship battles in like seasons 3 and 4, those look great. Yeah, I think so. Still,
I was watching.
Joel, go back and watch the last Starfighter. That talked to me about the CGI in Babylon 5.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm saying is that the CGI, it's a TV show. It's really good for a TV show in The Expanse.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Not everything can be Star Wars quality. So
especially not for television.
No, definitely not. And again, it's just. I look at it, does it add to the storytelling or does it distract from the storytelling? And I think for the most part, it works well.
Oh, by the way, speaking of Babylon 5, that is also coming to Amazon Prime in July. So if anyone hasn't seen Babylon 5, you can watch it for free on Amazon Prime. It's the greatest show ever made.
And just great, because I just bought the entire series off of iTunes last month for like $50. It was on sale.
Well, now you have it forever.
Yeah, once I have to subscribe to it. Yeah, until my computer dies. Okay. Before we move on to the books, what about the speculation? Because I think this series does wonders when they, the speculation. Because if you haven't read the books, you don't know where it's going to turn next in terms of the plot. Mm-hmm. What is the proto-molecule? And there's this element of mystery to it, and I like that.
Well, I think they finally mentioned this last episode that proto-molecule was something they found on one of the moons of Jupiter, on Phoebe, and that's what they've been experimenting with this whole time. But it took them 3 seasons to get to just say, hey, look, this is something we found that isn't from our solar system, and we've been playing with it. We've been playing with it for 3 years.
Yeah, and
I could have sworn they mentioned it before that when they raided the base.
They mentioned the incident on Phoebe, but I don't remember if they actually mentioned that the proto-molecule was found on Phoebe.
Okay, they alluded to it during the fight scene on the Donager. So you have Holden talking to the one Martian intelligence officer during the firefight, or just right after, saying, "Okay, we're all both going to die. You may as well tell me why you are so interested." And he said that he related this story where they found that Phoebe has been cleared, that all the hard drives were wiped, and there was a big fire to kind of cleanse the place.
Right.
So
but they all actually talk about what it is they found and where it is they thought that it had come from.
Yeah, which is, again, it's interesting how they don't connect all the dots in an obvious way.
Right.
Yeah, like when I watched season 1, I had not read the books and I knew nothing of what was going on. And I remember the season 1 finale's ender was kind of showing like a black, like, alien goo grabbing someone. And that was the first time when I started asking, wait, is that supposed to be like an alien? So up to that point, I had no clue that this was going to be about extraterrestrial aliens.
Well, I mean, the protomolecule is kind of like extra solar system primordial goo.
Yeah. Is it life or is it mechanical or is it both?
Yes.
Let's speculate on that.
And more.
Yeah. Maybe it can cure a hangover. That would be useful. But
yeah, like I basically throughout all of season 1, I just thought it was about humans fighting humans. And it wasn't really grabbing my interest. I was kind of more watching it out of a sense of completion. But then when we got to that final scene of season 1 with what I assumed to be an alien thing, I was like, okay, now I'm interested, because now I know that all these little factional fightings are about to be interrupted by an actual alien invasion of some kind. So that's what hooked me.
Except that it's not an alien invasion, really.
Well, I know.
Because,
I'm saying that was my theory at the time, watching it, not knowing anything.
Come on. It's not like it's threatening the entire human species.
Yes, it is.
Maybe. Oh, wait. Oh, okay.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
It reaches out, Joel.
I think this is a good point to declare the first part to be over and move on to the book part number 2. What do you guys think?
Sure.
Okay,
Sure.
just to reiterate, we are going to talk about all the books by James S.A. Corey in the Expanse series, and we will be talking spoilers. So if you haven't read the books at this point, stop listening. Please do yourself a favor, because these books are really good. You should go out and buy them.
Go read them and then come back and listen to this.
Absolutely. They're published by Orbit Books, by the way. That's the publishing house. We should always give credit to the publishers. And yes, it's, of course, by James S.A. Corey, Daniel Abrams, and Ty Frank. Okay. You're still there, guys?
I'm still here.
I'm here.
Customers. You're still there, customers? Listeners. Okay, good. Now we can talk about books. Okay, Derek, you can start, because this was your idea.
It was?
Yes. Where do you want to talk about this? So far, there's been 7 books out there, right?
Yep.
I think there's at least 2 more coming, maybe 3.
Yes.
Yeah,
2
it's
more.
supposed to be 9, a trilogy of trilogies.
Right. And I found out today that number 8 is called Tiamat's Wrath. And it's
Tiamat's Wrath.
Tiamat's Wrath. Thank you. And it's being released December 4th of 2018. So another mere 7-8 months down the road. So.
Yeah, that title doesn't make me nervous at all. It really it is making me very, very nervous.
I gotta admit, I cannot keep the titles together at all because they're way too similar. So I just think of them as book 1, 2, 3, 4 because I cannot remember which one is which.
Yeah, and it's. Go ahead, Kerr.
No, okay. So I have to get this off my chest a bit, because the show it introduced Drummer really, really early into the story, and I hadn't caught up with the books by the time of by the second season. I've read them all now, but I spent the first 2 seasons of The Expanse referring to Drummer as not Sam, quote unquote not Sam, because she basically took the place of Sam.
Yeah.
In some respects, and we all know what happened to Sam in Abaddon's Gate.
Yeah.
And so, but then that what kind of way I was okay, Drummer's going to be fine, but now she's captain of the Behemoth. And we all know what happened to the captain of the Behemoth in Abaddon's Gate. Like, fuck.
Oh, so you're thinking
Now she's in peril again.
Yeah, but she's already. This is like Games of Thrones. Come on.
Yeah.
I've only read these books once, so I'm kind of struggling to remember all the details.
Oh, I know, and I try to find some summaries online,
Sam got killed in.
She was like the cute engineer on series.
Yeah, she was like on Tycho that kept the Rossi.
Oh right, yeah, okay, that's right, yeah, okay.
And then the captain of the Behemoth was a complete he was a complete asshole, but he also got himself killed. So now the drummer is the captain of the Behemoth. I'm like, what?
Yeah, but they're already doing so many things so differently from the books. I wouldn't worry.
I realize that, but I mean, if drummer is going to eventually get to where she's head of the Belter coalition, she can't be. It's like my brain is thinking she can't be in charge of the Behemoth because that's never a good job.
Yeah, so I obviously watched the show before the books, and the first season, like I said, it didn't really grab me. I kind of just stuck with it. But then the beginning of season 2, which was the end of book 1, that I thought was amazing and thrilling when they staged the assault on the research laboratory of Mao, and then they had to. And then the Ceres asteroid was like hurtling towards Earth. Like that, I thought was really exciting. It's too bad that they couldn't have ended season 1 with that, but oh well. And that's what finally got me to read the books, because I was so excited by that ending. It's like, I can't wait for the show to eke things out. I got to read everything at once and find out what's going to happen. So I started reading book 2 from there. And for a long time, book 2 was my favorite because it introduced my 2 favorite characters, Avasarla and Bobby. And I just thought it was a very thrilling plot compared to season 1. Season 1 is definitely my least favorite book. It's a little slow and mundane. And season 2, just every chapter was just thrilling and edge of your seat and ended on a cliffhanger. I thought it was really well written. And then season 3 and 4, I felt were, they were all right. The mystery of the alien space station was very interesting. But book 4... I kind of had a problem with spending all that time on the alien planet with the awful people. Did you guys like that one?
I thought
I liked it, and there are seeds within that are going to play heavily into this last trilogy. So I like that they had to set that they kind of had to set that up to bring in a couple of threads for this last trilogy.
Yeah, I found that number 4 book, so Sibylla Byrne, it was a strange book because it took place on that one planet for the most part. It wasn't part of a larger conspiracy arc. I think it's starting. We need to see if it is going to be used for, say, book 8 or book 9.
And also, it didn't have Naomi or Alex in it because they couldn't handle the gravity. So it only starred Holden and Amos. So that wasn't great either.
Yeah, and just the idea.
Well, Naomi's the only one who couldn't handle the gravity, but Amos is Alex is the pilot. He had to be on the Rossi.
Yeah, he's a Martian, so yeah. And the whole idea of Jim Holden being a diplomat, well, that's kind of absurd. But yeah, it is what it is. Yeah. It's like sending a Hollywood star, to the UN. Wait, yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, Holden's kind of like Holden's kind of like this guy who's like he wants to do the right thing. And he always gets stuck with the shit jobs. It's like no one else is going to do this, so I guess someone's got to.
Yeah, and there's a high probability of death. Okay, let's send Holden.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh wow.
And then books 5, 6, and 7. Right. I love them all. Well, no, that's not true. The beginning of book 5 I didn't like because it was like 4 unrelated standalone stories starring each of the characters that had nothing to do with one another. And I was like, what is this? This is like 4 little short stories that mean nothing. But then halfway through that book, it happens. And then all of a sudden, it becomes extremely interesting and very exciting. So 5 and 6, I thought, were a real high point. And we finally brought all the other characters back. Because the one thing that really disappointed me about the books is that they introduced characters that I love, and then they just disappear. Like Bobby and Avasarla are POV characters in book 2, and then I think they're only cameos in 3 and 4. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I was really disappointed by that because when I got to the end of book 2, I was like, man, Ava Starlet and Bobby are the best. And then they're just gone after that. So I was very happy when I think it's 5 and 6, they finally, rather than just having 1 or 2 perspective characters, they have a bunch of people and it just becomes a big Tom Clancy sprawling epic. That's what I really loved.
Yeah, and just to refer to the books by their proper names. I know we do them by numbers, so it's easier.
Sorry.
But this is for reference. This is for educational. It's a didactic purpose. So book 5 is Nemesis Games. Book 6 is Babylon Ashes, which is maybe a reference to Babylon 5. Probably not. Probably the whole Old Testament Babylon. Okay.
I think it's Old Testament Babylon.
Yeah, lots of
especially given what was going on in book 6. That's definitely
Yeah, there's a lot of Greek, Hebrew. I know
there's a lot of mythological references.
Yeah, definitely.
In these book, at least in the book titles.
Yeah, book 7 is Persepolis Rising.
Uh-huh.
And going back to book 3, that's Abaddon's Gate.
Abaddon's Gate.
Yeah, and of course, book 2 is Caliban's War, and number 1 is Leviathan Wakes. And it's funny in the sense that if you try to figure out these references to the book names, you won't find them in the Expanse world itself. It refers back to our own little world in some really esoteric way, which is kind of.
Well, I mean, Leviathan is and you could think about the mythological Leviathan from like the story of Perseus and stuff like that, and then if you follow the logic of that, it's like, oh yeah, some of these titles don't make me nervous at all, which is why Tiamat's Wrath is just like, that's like that it's not even that the mythology makes me nervous. It's just that Tiamat is also in Dungeons and Dragons the 5-headed goddess of darkness, and it's like, no, that doesn't make me nervous.
Yeah, and what could possibly happen?
What could possibly go wrong?
Let me ask you two a question. The ending of book 6, the trick that they used to defeat the bad guys, did you find that to be anticlimactic? Because it didn't bother me because they had been setting that up since the beginning of book 5. So I didn't think it was a cop-out. I thought it was a clever way of defeating the enemy indirectly. Did you like that part?
Yeah, I'm just trying
to. It was definitely better than, say, Twilight, where they hint at this big war that's going to happen, and then everyone just goes home.
Yeah, can you reference the trick or explain?
Okay, I was trying to be vague to avoid spoilers, but it's when the enemy fleet is going to come through the Stargate to attack them, and Naomi figures out that by doing some little hitchy glitch to the other gate, it can cause people going through the gate to just like dissolve and not come through and get killed.
Right, it's the
whole
monster.
She figured out that if we do this, this, and this, and the invading fleet will just get killed when they come through the gate.
Yeah, which is really neat. I think we could see that it was forecasted or telegraphed. But how else would you defeat a superior military force, which is so much more superior in terms of its tech?
Right. I mean, they were basically in an impossible situation by the end of book 6. So it's like either they have to make the enemy fleet go away somehow, or they're all gonna get killed. And personally, since I hated Marco, I was glad that he got removed from the universe.
Oh, that reminds me of my all-time favorite badass moment from the books when Naomi spaces herself to get to another ship to escape her captors. That was such a horrifying sequence. But man, that was gutsy. Oh, and I also love the fact that she says to Philippe, I think she says, before you kill yourself, come and find me. Like, she knows that eventually the guilt of what he did is going to just drive him to suicide, and she wants a chance to say goodbye to him before that happens.
Or she wants a chance to talk him out of it.
Yeah. But I love that scene because, he was all kind of like, smarmy and full of himself. And she's like, I know what's going to happen to you in the future. And, I'm going to be there for you.
Well, I mean, he's a teenager, and he's
brainwashed teenager.
He's a brainwashed teenager. And
it's the Kylo Ren.
Yeah. So he's been led on this path made to think that everything he's doing is correct, and it doesn't matter that he's killing people or a planet, because really, why would you care that Earth can no longer make food for the rest of the solar system?
And that to me was the most heinous, horrible, villainous thing that Marcos did. He made his teenage son pull the trigger on that. Oh my God. That's so bad.
That sucked.
Yeah, it's funny how they really step up the villains later on in the books. Like each time there's a new book or new villain, it's just so much worse. Like look at Winston Drott, from the planet Laconia. How's that, guys? Books.
You got it.
Books. Good. It's like, come on, what a monster! But you can tell what he's trying to do. What he's trying to do is so evil. Okay.
Well, I mean, he's in that way he's kind of like Thanos. He everything he's doing, he completely believes is the right thing to do, and it doesn't matter that that what he's trying to do is completely horrible.
Yeah.
He thinks he's creating a better universe for the galaxy, and he's really not.
Yeah, I didn't think they would be able to top book 6 for being my favorite, but I think 7 actually managed to be my new favorite because it was really thrilling, and there were some really shocking twists and reversals, and it had a lot of characters in it. All my favorite characters were back, and I really appreciated the fact that the Laconians, they weren't trying to kill everyone. They were actually trying to act with restraint and, just say, if you surrender, we won't hurt you. So I appreciated that because everybody in the series up till now has been horribly violent and murderous and just trying to kill everyone. So I really loved that the new villains were quote unquote civilized and, just looking to colonize, but not to kill anyone. That was a nice change of pace.
Yeah, it's like
the Nazis were civilized to the people they conquered too, except for the the people they threw in the concentration camps. So I may be wrong about this, but to my knowledge, the Laconians had no interest in enslaving anyone. They were just taking over to civilize the system. They had no interest in enslaving anyone. Correct. But you either followed their rules or you died.
Yeah, they kind of remind me of like the ancient Egyptians, right? So with Diarte being the ancient, Egyptian emperor or pharaoh, and you look at it. How do you build pyramids? Well, you have to find people to move rocks. So I think eventually in their society, there's going to be a slave class in order for the greater good. Because how else do you justify slavery?
But did they have? Did they? I don't know. Like I said, I only read it once, so I'm hazy. But I don't remember them doing. I remember that criminals were tested on with the protomolecule. But aside from that, did they do anything bad to people who cooperated? No,
except you have to follow the rules. If you don't follow the rules, then you get executed. Right? It's very much a military state, which is interesting because the two of the last bad guys. So we have Marco and we have Durante. So the one guy is extreme terrorist, radical, who doesn't care about Earthers or Martians. He just wants to establish OPA as a force, and he's willing to kill billions of people to do that. We got this guy who also doesn't mind killing people if need be, but he just wants to rule. And as long as you follow his rules, okay. If not,
he wants to rule for life too.
Not just his life. I mean, forever. Okay. Because all these experiments, he's trying to live, for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he's a good guy.
Which always goes well.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm not saying he's a good guy. I'm just saying that compared to that piece of shit Marcos Inaros, he was a lot better than that.
Oh God, I miss the good old Aaron Wrights of the world.
Yeah, it takes a lot to make me miss Aaron Wright and Mao.
Wow.
Yeah, like at least they were. They were horrible, but they were trying to kind of do something good. Whereas Marcos was. I know he was trying to build a new belt, but as his own mathematician told him, what you're trying to do is mathematically impossible. And to try to wipe out Earth, the only habitable planet in all of humanity. He was like the Osama bin Laden of the story. The ultimate villain.
Well, he didn't care. He didn't care what happened as long as his people. And it's not even he does not even that he cared about his people. It's like it was all about him. And the way it was the way that every time something bad happened, he would twist it to say, "Oh, I meant to do that. Oh, I meant to do that. Oh, this is completely fine. We're gonna it's gonna be completely fine." So it's like I this is the thing I wanted to have happen.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of a Lenin or a Stalin. Yeah, sure, you have to break some eggs to get an omelet, but you still want the omelet.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, guys, we should try to wrap it up because we have to post the show on more than one feed this time around. Hopefully. Yay!
Yay!
So
I guess there's no point in recommending people read the books at this point in the podcast because if you're listening, you've already read them. So.
Okay, before we leave, what do you guys expect?
Read them.
Yeah, you could. Yes. What do you think is going to happen in book 8 and book 9? How is this series going to end?
I think Holden's finally going to get himself killed. If not in Tiamat's Wrath, then definitely in book 9. He's been almost getting himself killed for this entire series. It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Eventually, or he's going to become the new hybrid, and that's also not going to be very, very good. Or it could be. Who knows? Maybe his sense of morality will help the protomolecule figure out what it's supposed to do. There's also that race that apparently the protomolecule was trying to save itself from, and we haven't seen anything about it yet. We haven't seen anything from that yet. So.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
I forgot the gate killers.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of shit that's about to happen, and Duarte is just not prepared.
Yeah, I think the gods are going to return, and they will be not happy.
Yeah, the Goa'uld are going to reopen the Stargate and enslave the humans.
Yeah, the humans are just ants, and that's the problem.
To cross streams.
Yeah, so I guess the trilogy is going to end in a war between the Laconians and the Gate Killers, and basically the Gate Killers are going to wipe out the Laconians, taking care of that problem for us. But then we have to worry about the Gate Killers, and Holden will somehow have to reactivate the Miller program to reactivate the Gate Builders technology to save us from the bad guys. That's my theory.
Wow.
No problem, right?
No problem.
But that's going to be an amazing read because
that should be easy,
I've been
right?
waiting and waiting for these ancient godlike aliens to finally directly appear. So that's going to be very exciting.
Yeah, what happens if it turns out that's Thanos who shows up in a big spaceship?
And snaps his fingers, and that's it.
Well, at least he'll kill half of the Gate Killers.
All right, let's wrap this up, shall we, guys?
Yeah, sure.
It's been a great conversation, and we should do this again. Actually, what we should do, we should go on the crash couch and talk about the Expanse with these guys, because they love the Expanse. And I think we have a standing invitation to go on the show. So if you ever want to go on a podcast, guys, go on the crash couch, which is part of the When the Nerds Attack network, believe it or not. And they've been around. So please, you support the crash couch, support us. You can like us on Facebook. We are on Twitter at the SciFi Pubcast. And the network page is at Nerds Attack Pod. You can leave a review on Apple Music. I always screw this up. Apple Podcast? Yes, Apple Podcasts. Because we need some more reviews. Please leave a good one, or a fairly good one, please. I'll send you stickers. And you can send us, using an old-fashioned email. Our email address is management@scifipubcast.space. I can be found on Twitter at Joel_Welch, my first and last name. Carrie, where can they find you on Twitter?
You can find me at Carrie Blackfire42. That's Keri Blackfire42.
And Derek?
At Derek J. Beebe.
Well, I think we're getting pretty good at this with the Twitter addresses. I think having 21 shows on our belt is really helpful.
Yeah.
Lots of practice.
Lots of practice.
Well, folks, it's closing time. Please make it home safe, and please continue to love science fiction, and in particular, The Expanse. We'll see you next time. Bye.
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 Enjoy the fungus.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Drew M. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly. and we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.